Hey, everybody. I'm going to jump in here. I want to talk to you about something that's coming up that I want to share with you that I'm going to be doing next week. I can't even believe it's already almost here. And so many of you have requested this type of training. So I'm going to be doing a masterclass for you called Establishing Healthy Habits right here in the Revitalized Biblical Wellness Facebook group on Tuesday. It's Tuesday coming up on Tuesday, the 23rd at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you haven't registered for this class, I just want to invite you to do it. It's totally free. You just go to biblicalbodyplan.com/masterclass and you'll be able to register there. All you have to do is put in your name, your email address so that you will get notified of the Zoom link and all the information that's coming up and the replay if you can't come live. So I've been thinking about this topic of habits, not just because it's January and it's so cliche to talk about habits, right? Like we know everybody's talking about habits, but this is not a one time of year topic for me. I am constantly thinking about habits and how they, the role that they play in my life and the role that they, the role that not just that they play in my life, but how they can hinder, like, well, that's the role that they play in my life, right? But how can they hinder my success? I'm always thinking about that and looking at my habits and looking at where I could improve them. And so, I just think it's really important topic to always be thinking about, and be looking at in our life is our habits because, intentions do not equal outcomes. Like we can have the best of intentions and want to get something done, but if we don't have a plan in place for how to get there, if we don't know where we're going, even like we're like, I'm going to do this, but we're like, I don't even know where I'm going, then how are you going to get there? And what I mean by that is if you get in your car, which we can't do right now because where I live in Tennessee, I live close to the Alabama-Tennessee state line. You can probably see out my window over there that there's a lot of snow on the ground. It's not even really snow, it's more ice, and then a little bit of snow, and then more ice on top of that. So we're kind of iced in. I haven't been able to leave my house this week, which has been great for me. It's been fine. But our whole family's really kind of like stuck, inside. And I'm happy about it, but I hate that people are stuck inside maybe without heat and certain things that they need too. So that's not cool. But anyways, the point is, if you leave your house and you want to go somewhere, like I want to go to Florida. Say I'm going to drive from Tennessee to Florida, and I know I'm going to go to Florida. I'm like, I'm going to Florida, and I'm going to go to the Florida Keys specifically. So I think I know where I'm going, right? And then I just start driving. How would I know which direction to drive? How would I know what stops I need to make? How would I know how long it's going to take me? How much gas and money, all the things. Like we have to make plans for traveling when we travel. And the same is true of our life, but we just don't look at it like that, especially when we have these goals. We're like, I'm going to be healthier. I'm going to lose 20 pounds. I'm going to go to the gym every single day. I'm going to do all these healthy habits, right? I'm going to suddenly become a person that's just automatically healthy overnight. And this is why 80% of New Year's resolutions fail before February 1st. It's really crazy. I'm like, why is this? It is as simple as two things, our habit and our identity. Because if we don't identify as people who do the healthy things that we want to do first and foremost, we won't do them. Secondly, creating habits is tough. Like creating new habits is super tough. And what we tend to do is we willpower our way through and we're like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to bootstrap it. I'm going to do the thing and I'm going to be a totally different person on January 1st or Monday or whatever day you choose. If it's June 15th, it doesn't matter. Okay. We just say, I'm going to be this totally different person suddenly. And we have not really spent the time to do the deep work that it takes to start to identify as somebody who is that person that can achieve those things. We think there's a principle in the Bible called the be, do, and have principle. Okay. So this principle, we tend to reverse and think about it differently and backwards. And my husband and I were talking about this last night, and I think it's really important to look at it this way instead of the principle that God set up for us, even in the garden in Genesis, about being, then doing, and then having, okay, dominion. That instead we look at life like if we have the 20-pound weight loss suddenly, if we have that, then, we're going to do the things that we should be doing to be the healthy person. It's backwards. We have to look at it the opposite way. Be the healthy person internally. Be that healthy person. That doesn't start by doing, it starts by being, becoming, identifying, walking out a whole different identity, really, a whole different way of life. And that is not a quick process. It's you've been doing something your whole life, right? Like you've been doing something for X amount of years. You're not just going to suddenly I'm totally a different person tomorrow. And then we set ourselves up for failure. And these habits that we need to create in our life and to establish in our life and to establish them so that they become who we are and part of our identity, they just get, like left to the wayside. They just are like, oh, well, I thought I was going to be able to drink 100 ounces of water a day, but I didn't. And so never mind. And then we give up, right? We're just like, it's just too tough and it's frustrating. Establishing healthy habits is hard. It is hard when we're not used to doing that. That's not who we have been in the past, but it doesn't mean that that's not who you can become. You definitely can become. You can become who you were created to be and do the things that God has empowered you to do anytime you choose. You can. You can. So there's no excuse for why you can't, but it is hard. Okay. Change is hard. It's definitely hard. But guess what? So is staying the same. Staying the same is also hard. Why is it hard? Because we miss out on a lot of things by not changing. We think, well, there's resistance. I'm going to quit. It's uncomfortable. I'm going to quit. It's not working out. Maybe that wasn't the direction I was supposed to go. Like, you know, all good things come with a price. Like it takes something from us in order to get the thing that we want. Like there's sacrifice, there's change, there's just it is tough. But guess what? The hard that you're going to say yes to when you establish new healthy habits in your life is going to eventually end. Like it's hard to continue to do the same thing and get the same results that you don't want for indefinitely, dot, 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 right? It's hard. Okay. But it's equally as hard to change. The only difference is there's an end in sight when you choose to do the hard thing for a short period of time. And I don't mean a week or a month. I mean, it is sometimes going to take some months. Okay. That's scary for a lot of people when they're like, I just thought it would work like super fast. It's not. Okay. It's not. That's why we live in debt, because delayed gratification is just not something that we're good at. Okay. It's just not something in our culture in this day and age. It's just not something we're good at. Waiting is not our thing. Okay. It's not our thing. And I know that. And I just released a podcast this past week, actually on the Wait on the Lord podcast. And it's also streamed on YouTube if you ever just want to watch me rambling and flopping my hands around. But it's on the podcast, Wait on the Lord, where I talk about waiting on God and how to wait well and how to learn to wait in the waiting room of life, right? And so I talked about that. And it's really important how we wait when we're achieving or when we're trying to achieve healthy habits or establish healthy habits in our life or do something new that's very uncomfortable at first. Like it is so legit, super uncomfortable for me to sit here behind this camera and talk to myself. Like, I know you're on the other side, right? Like, I know, but you're not here with me. Like, we're not having coffee. We're not chilling out. Like, it is different. Like, there's a microphone right here. I mean, it's not my comfort zone, but it has become more comfortable over the last 4 years that I've been doing it, but it's still uncomfortable. But I've made a habit of it. I talk a lot now on camera, and like, it's tough, but I do it and it's easier. And I know that the more I do it, the easier it will continue to be. So that's just something, it's a quick example, but just with your health in general, if you, for instance, are looking to lose X amount of weight, okay, and you don't have a plan in place to get there, you just say, throw out something, right? I want to lose 20 pounds this year, or I want to increase 10x my business this year, or I don't know, whatever it is, your goals. Okay. Those are the most things people say. I want to make more money and I want to lose weight. Okay. So if those are your goals, or time management is another big deal. I want to have better time management. If you want to do those things, you have to look at the end, like, what do I want to do with that? I want to have better time management. Okay. Well, what does that look like? And then you reverse engineer that goal. You can't just throw the goal out there and then like willy-nilly try to get there. You have to actually have a plan in place and then take take that plan and break it down into more digestible pieces that you can put into place. And then you continue to create, these small wins for yourself, these littler goals that are going to end up helping you achieve your bigger goal. And in the process, you have to start to become that person who does the healthy thing so that you can get unstuck. To be unstuck is a super helpful thing. And I just wrote this because I thought it was really good. As I was talking to the Lord about some things, and then I just shared this to my email subscriber list, but I want to read this to you because it's just really good. And I'm like, thank you, Lord. Like he gives me the coolest pictures sometimes about how to describe this stuff. And it says, we can have the best intentions, but without a plan in place to achieve the desired outcomes, it is unlikely that you're ever going to see those goals come to pass. And that's so true. And it is the cold hard truth, and nobody wants to hear that. And I don't want to hear that either. Change is hard, right? It's hard. Like, oh no, I'm going to have to actually do something. Yes, I'm going to have to do something different, not just something. I'm going to have to do something different. But listen, the truth hurts, right? Like we don't want to hear the truth because it's like, oh, it's uncomfortable, it's painful, I don't like it. But it is the truth that sets us free according to the word, okay? If we'll just accept it and we'll stop fighting the truth, okay? Because we think, well, I know that it's going to take sacrifice, and I know that it's going to be, a little bit uncomfortable or a lot of bit uncomfortable, but I think that I could probably just will my way through it. Okay. I understand. Listen, I realize that the biggest enemy to my success in any area of my weight loss and wellness journey were my habits. Because I'd say things like y'all say the same thing year after year. I'm going to the gym and I'm eating 1,200 calories. No matter what, I am going to be a like bodybuilder by June. I do it, right? And then what happens? Some super thoughtful person, super thoughtful, brings me some kind of chocolate, gooey fudge brownies or something, and I'd cave. My resolve would cave. Like I'd just be done. And I'd say, well, I'll get back to it tomorrow. But then when tomorrow would come, I'd oversleep. I got too busy. I fell into the normal pattern of life, which meant that I was just not going to work out that day, because the normal pattern of life was I'm not working out, or I'm not going to eat healthy, because that's the normal pattern of life, which is also our habits, right? So I had created ruts that kept me stuck so long, and I thought that I could just willpower my way out of them. And I want to give you this picture that God showed me when I was thinking about just willpowering my way through yet again. He said to me, he showed me this picture of a vehicle stuck in the mud, spinning its tires. And have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen a truck or a vehicle or a Jeep or whatever stuck in the mud, spinning its tires, mud slinging everywhere? Now, I live in the South. This happens around here a lot. But if you live up in the mountains or wherever, if you've seen this, okay, the outcome is not usually what the driver wants when they're spinning their wheels, just pedal to the metal, willing the vehicle to move. What ends up happening is they get more stuck in a deeper rut and they can't get out. Like they just think, well, if I just push this harder, like to the floor, it'll just work. Well, it's not working. It's creating a deeper rut, and you're not going to get out of it any easier than when you started. Actually, it'll be more difficult to get out of than when you started if you keep that pedal to the metal, right? Like if you keep pushing the pedal all the way down and tires are slinging the mud everywhere. So the right answer is, in that situation, to get out, to walk the vehicle, look around, assess the situation, right? And then put a plan in place. Like, can you put some boards under your tires? Can you call for help? Like call for help if needed. And then once you do all that and you have your plan and you call for help if needed, then bam, you are unstuck. You're unstuck, right? So this is the same approach that I had to learn to take if I wanted to create new habits. So in order for change to come in my life, I had to actually change something in my life. And I know it's hard. I know it is. But like I said earlier, staying the same is also hard. It just is. So I really want to invite you to come on Tuesday to the Establishing Healthy Habits Masterclass that's going on inside the Revitalized Biblical Wellness Facebook group and on Zoom. So you can join us either way. If you come live, you are going to get time with me, and we're going to work through and walk through your personal habits that you are stuck in, that you want to either get rid of, or the new habits that you want to establish. And we'll start to look at These three simple things that you can put in place to actually assure that you're going to hit your goals for sure. Okay, so I'm going to give you a 3-step system to fail proof your goals. And this is something that has happened in my life through a lot of what's not real blood, sweat, and tears, but it feels like it. There's been tears. Okay. Let me just tell you that. And I have sweated. Okay. But I've not bled, but it feels like that. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so tough because I just thinking about doing it doesn't actually make it happen. And that's why I started by saying intentions do not equal outcomes because they don't. So I want you to register. It's biblicalbodyplan.com/masterclass. And all you have to do is just put in your name and your email address. You're going to be on the list. If you have any questions, just type those down below. And if you do come live, you're going to get, like I said, personalized coaching with me for that time. We'll be together between 60 minutes and 60 and 90 minutes, just depending on how many people come and need help. After I give you some training, we're going to go through where you are specifically. I'll invite you to come on and talk with me. So you'll need to be in the Zoom room. And if you have something that you already know, like I want to lose, say for instance, I want to lose 20 pounds. That's just a vague, broad thing. Okay. But it can be anything. So come with your intentions, your habit goals. Okay. Your goals, your whatever you want to say in place. Okay. Have those written and come ready with those on a piece of paper. Like, this is what I want to achieve this year. This is the habits that I would like to create this year. And if you're just like, I don't even know what habits I need to get to in order to see this goal, that's fine. At least write your goal. Like, at least have an end in mind so that we can start to reverse engineer that and put some habits in place. And then using the information that I'm going to give you, those 3 things that I'm going to teach you on Tuesday, you'll be able to take those and look at beyond what we did together. And even if you can't come live, you can do this to yourself, your own goals. You'll be able to take this and do this, and you'll be able to take those goals and reverse engineer them and look at, okay, here's where I am, here's where I want to be, and here's what I need to do in the process. So I want you to come. If you can come live, that's great. But I know it's going to be 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. Many of you may be working and can't come live, or you may just be able to come and watch, in the Facebook group, whatever works for you. And yeah, so I hope you guys can make it. And oh, I wanted to ask you one more thing. If you could do me a huge favor and just type out in the comments underneath this video, whether you're watching it in the Revitalized Biblical Wellness group or you're watching it on my profile, because I'm going to share this to my profile just for everybody who is not in this group or isn't aware of this group can see it. But if you'll just type in the comments wherever you're watching, what are some questions or things that you want me to address during the habits class? Like, do you have anything specific that you're struggling with that you want me to address when it comes to establishing healthy habits and your weight loss and wellness goals? This is not just about weight loss, because weight loss is a byproduct of you becoming well. And that's why it's important that we look at and address the internal health of our bodies and our minds and all the things first. So laying a solid foundation is so vital. So I want you to ask questions or just share anything that you hope that I might be covering. Let me know that way. If it's something that I can help you with, I can make sure to put that in my notes and address that during the class. Okay. All right, ladies, I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday. I have to always look at my calendar because I'm like, where are we? Because it's been weird. I've been, home all week. All right. Talk to you soon, ladies. Bye-bye.